No, please. No, 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 no. Don't ruin my plan, ABC. Don't ruin my plan! Oh, don't do this to me. Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, or welcome back if this is your 19th Rookie Season 2 episode review. This is it, the penultimate episode before next week's season finale. It's crazy. It's already coming to an end. It's almost over. Season 2 at least. Hopefully we will be back for Season 3 whenever the hell this is over. But anyway, so this week, it's the penultimate. It's a two-parter finale. And honestly, this works so well as a one-parter. It works well as a standalone episode as well as part of a larger story. It definitely continues one of the running storylines we've been secretly seeing throughout the whole season. And now that we're already being set up for its conclusion next week, it's weird but also understandable. But we're still missing pieces, and I think this episode's promo definitely did subvert expectations. As I'll get through the review, I was going to be a little bit let down had the revelation that we got in towards the end, towards the second half was like, okay, why am I not surprised? It's TV show 101. But then as we got to the more final minutes, and it was like apparent that wait a minute, something is wrong here. There was something in the back of my mind. I thought, no, I don't want to believe it. Then. But let's get down to it. Let's go for the butchered recap. And you'll understand the method to my sadness as I was approaching as this episode was reaching its conclusion. So we begin this episode, I think, a little bit of a cringeworthy moment. I mean, we see these, like, the typical cop stories where Nolan, Chen, and Wes are telling their stories from their rookie day. Apparently it's a big rookie reunion, not in terms of like characters we've seen before. It's more like these were other cadets who were in the academy with Nolan, Chen, and West, but they were transferred to other divisions. So they're getting together for like a celebration that they've reached the final month of their training program, and that they're going to be, hopefully by this time next month, they'll be full employees of the LAPD. So everyone's excited. Everyone's getting hammered out that this is the big push the last 30 days. Everyone's excited. Nolan gets pulled away by one of his fellow cadets, rookies. I forgot what the terminology was in terms of his peer. She's talking to him about this other peer that Wes is having a rivalry with. Apparently, it stems back from day one of the academy. They're always trying to one-up each other. They're always trying to compete with each other. Even now that they're not in the academy anymore, they're still trying to fight each other. And she's telling him that she hopes that she's telling him that this specific rookie, this specific peer, isn't doing so well in the transition from going from the academy to the actual field work. So with that being said, she kind of wants him to, once the 30-day push is over, and since they'll be full employees, they'll be able to get vacation time and days off. She wants to kind of take him along for a while to kind of get away from everything, reset his mind, so to speak. So kind of a nice, sweet thing. It could be a friendship thing. It could have been like a romance thing. I don't know. They didn't really delve much into this episode. But anywho, the next day, well, before we get to the next morning, apparently, that firefighter, I believe Lucy was seeing 2 weeks ago. I don't remember if it was 2 weeks ago or last week. It's blurring my mind a little bit, or maybe 3 weeks ago. I don't know. But that firefighter that Lucy was interested in, apparently they opted, let's screw it, let's just hook up, and now they're unofficially boyfriend and girlfriend. But Lucy kind of wants to keep things on the down low because Okay, hold on. I was going to say something totally wrong and offensive. I'm sorry. Interdepartmental relationship, a firefighter with a police officer. And while that's nothing against the rules, but with Lucy still being a rookie cop, it's still very much not entirely something that she wants everyone to know about just quite yet. Especially to Bradford, since Bradford and him know each other. So they decide to keep it on the down low, as well as for them to at least just treat each other like equals, but don't like bring up any romantic elements while they're on the job. And supposedly they're fine. They've been doing fine. I don't know how long this has been going on for, but whatever. I mean, she got. Here's the thing. I like that Lucy's happy. She seems very much happier compared from when we began the second half of this season to now. It's like there's a definite tone change in Lucy. She's more happier. She maybe has found someone worth spending her time with. It seems like she's getting into a better place, and I'm happy for that. Meanwhile, back at the station, Nolan is catching up with Nick about what happened last week, where the his former nurse girlfriend, the doctor, they broke up. Well, supposedly they're going to break up because she wants to get back together with her husband so that the son doesn't suffer anymore in school and life. But Nick is like, well, you do still like her, you still care about her. But the problem is, if no one leaves her alone, she might be more agreeing to fully accept her husband back in, even though no one also has to respect the fact that there's a kid involved in here, and no one doesn't want to be responsible for telling her to, like, don't do this, don't ruin your happiness don't ruin your happiness just because you want your kid to be, which kind of is like, it's a shitty thing to say because no one's been through this before the show started with his relationship with his wife, when things were starting to deteriorate, but Henry, his son, was still in school. They didn't want to, like, change anything for him, so they said, let's just stay until he's 18, and then once he's graduated and off to college, that's it, that's over. So it was definitely prevalent there for Nolan as he went through it, but he doesn't want to exactly, put that on his girlfriend, on his, I don't know what to call her anymore, because are they technically dating? Are they not dating? I don't know, but he doesn't want to tell her because he doesn't want her to, like, make things worse or pressure her to not do what she thinks that what she wants to do is right. But Nick says, don't worry, you're John Nolan, you got this, you're going to figure this out somehow. And we get to the bullpen, doing our usual meeting. Obviously, Gray's bringing up the hack. Yeah, this is the 30-day push. It's the last 30 days. But just because these are the last 30 days doesn't mean it's a celebration. It's a reminder that you're not done yet. Yes, there's one more month to your program. However, it's still not over yet. You still have to get through all the whole month. Nothing's changed. It's not a celebration. That's pretty much it. It's just a reminder that these are your last days as a rookie, hopefully. So don't fuck it up. Sorry for my vulgar language. And apparently, it seems to be a quiet day for some reason. Like, apparently, there's no issues, there's no crimes, everything just seems peaceful. We might finally just have a peaceful episode of The Rookie. We see Nolan and Harper talking about Harper's impending trial to get her daughter back in terms of shared custody. We see Chen and Bradford having their usual barragement of, weird boot to T.O. relationship, as well as Chen having to keep quiet about her relationship with Emmett, which for some reason I just remember his name. So there's a reason to my madness, everyone. My brain sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. And also, Diaz and Wes are talking about Diaz's upcoming wedding. That because since Diaz is now back in line to potentially be a detective, she does want to focus on that, but also with her wedding impending, her mom and then Wesley's mom have teamed up. They've joined forces to kind of dictate the wedding, since apparently she's the only real female in both families. So technically, this is their only chance to kind of express their dreams of wedding through this wedding. So Diaz is not quite having it, but however, things quickly turn sour as they start hearing this chase in progress, and apparently they figured out that the peer from their last night's shenanigans, the one who was a rival to Wes, is involved in a car chase. They're chasing him, but it doesn't seem like the chase is going as smoothly or at least as normal as things should be, so everyone slowly just one by one decides to join in, and they assist him in getting him, but so West and Diaz arrive on the scene first as soon as one of the car they were chasing crashes. The peer, the other rookie, for some reason breaks protocol. He starts running towards the guy in the car, and he gets shot multiple times. So while West and that rookie's T.O. Is pulling him away to help him, the guy in the car tries to get away, but Nolan and Harper arrive just in time to give chase. So they head off. Meanwhile, here's the thing. I'm not really splitting off into the storylines here because everything just seems connected. So I'm going for the basic episode where usually, if you're new to this, I tend to split them all between the subplots. But since everything's just so closely together on this one, I say, I'm just going to focus hammer in on this one thing. So Wes and the other T.O. are trying to keep him stable, but he's losing a lot of blood. Eventually the ambulance does arrive. Wes decides to go with him while his T.O. has to stay behind and give a statement. And the T.O. is talking to Bradford. He's, expressing remorse that something's wrong. Had I just taught him more, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But Bradford's trying to assure him, no, this is meant to happen just because we teach our rookies how to do things. At the end of the day, they make their choices at the end, so he shouldn't feel so guilty about himself. Meanwhile, in the ambulance, Wes is trying to give this guy some encouragement, like, hey, listen, you're going to get through this. We're going to still have our competition. We're still going to keep pushing each other to be the next thing we need to be. But then he starts flatlining. Thankfully, they arrive at the hospital, and the doctor lady that no one's interested in is conveniently the one who is handling him and trying to get resuscitate him and trying to get him back to normal. Meanwhile, Nolan and Harper are still giving chase to the guy. They corner the car into a parking lot. However, the guy's gone, but the gun's still there. So Nolan stays behind to get the gun all documented, all make sure that everything is ironclad, because you never know what this weapon's going to be. Could be just a shooting weapon, or could be the murder weapon in case something wrong goes. Harper gives chase, but she's unable to find him. The guy gets away, but everything's processed. Nolan gets everything locked up into their box. Nick shows up, tries to help them out. They get an ID. It's apparently another mob family in LA that is prevalent, and is the one, and one of their higher ups was the one who shot the officer. So they got the guy, so they locked him away. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, Wes is watching, just from a distance. The other rookie who was talking to Nolan shows up. She wants to stay, but she's being called back into her station. So she kind of asks Wes, give me updates, keep me posted what's going on. So I think from there, so back at the... I'm back at the crime scene. Lucy's trying to corner off the scene so that no one gets in. Bradford not commends her. He what's the terminology for he berates her. He berates her for having the yellow tape on the right hand, which is her gun hand. But while he is berating her, Emmett is conveniently there, with the firefighters. Yeah. And he tries to defend her, but Bradford's like, hey, look, I'm her boss. Technically, I'm allowed to do whatever the hell I want for her. You're nothing. And then Chen gets mad at him, too, because, they just agreed this morning, don't defend me, leave me alone, because we can't have anyone, notice that we're in a relationship. And not even the first time they see each other on the job, and he immediately decides to go help her. So, I mean, I'll give him credit for being a good guy, but, you clearly made an agreement, so come on. So from there, we get back to the parking lot. Harper just realized she has an hour for a court appearance, so Nolan pushes her, hey, go do your court thing, come back when you're done. Me and Nick will take over from here. So Nolan and Nick head out back to the station. Back at the, meanwhile, no, wait. Yeah, no, back at the, no, so after they realized it was I forgot the name of the mob family. I'm just gonna say the mob family. It was the Armenians or something. I'm gonna say mob family. I really can't, I don't remember the actual name of the family. But so Chen and Bradford conveniently are placed on a task force to go apprehend one of that mob family's houses. They're trying to find documents, trying to find this shooter, but they find LAPD files and reports on their desk. So they apparently figure out someone in the LAPD is feeding them this information, so they have a mole among them. And this gets reported to Gray. Gray calls in Diaz, tells her about the situation. And another thing, I'm going to stop here for a second because I kind of want to give so much, it's a two-sided thing. I want to give enough credit where it's due on the way this episode was paced in terms of some of the acting. Because, again, since the way the promo was shot was that I thought that someone that was on the main cast was the mole. And the way Diaz was kind of, expressing her feelings and how she was playing around with this scene or in this moment, she definitely... I kind of felt like the way she was acting was like, oh, no, please don't tell me she's the mole. The way some of the lines were performed was like, oh, wait, is she the mole? I mean... wow. But then I realized, oh no, wait, this is just a moment that she's getting the recognition she deserves to be an acting detective for the day, which is closer to her dream than she's ever expected before. So I understand it, but it was still a very nice way to kind of sell the moment and kind of maybe misdirect the viewers a little bit. So I'll give them credit on that. So so Gray makes Diaz acting detective for this case because everyone says with the fact that there being a mole among them, Gray only trusts really one detective, one officer, which is Diaz. So Diaz is made acting detective, so she decides to plant a raid on the brother of the shooter's house. nearby. So Nolan, Nick, everyone heads out there to go help, and they manage to get him. Also, yeah, so the officer that Nolan was talking to is also there, but she has to head off somewhere else. She's being called away, which is kind of weird because, like, why was she there if she was going to get called away either way? Kind of weird. But anyway, so Nolan's heading, so they all head out to the house. They manage to get the brother, but they can't find the actual shooter, so they take the brother in for questioning. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, no, wait, I think I'm missing a scene here. Okay, no. So after the arrest is made, Nolan and Nick are back in the station. Nolan's about to process all the evidence, but while he's checking the lockbox and depositing all the evidence, he finds out that the gun that was in the lockbox is gone, and Nolan tells Gray this, coincidentally at the time where Gray gets the call that the police officer that was shot has just officially died. So now the gun has become a murder weapon, and Nolan, who was in charge of it, has lost it. So once again, Nolan is screwed yet again for, like, I think the 39th time in this show's history. Oh boy. So yeah, I think from there, Wes starts calling everyone, letting them know personally what happened with the officer, and Nolan's telling Harper and Nick about this. So they're both of them are also confused because, like, that means someone is. So probably the mole is probably the one who stole the gun. So as a precaution, they take everyone's body cams, try to review the footage, and figure out, okay, who could have been in the vicinity of the car to at least take the evidence, to take the gun. So they start viewing all the body cam footage, and they find out that the officer that Nolan was talking to, the girl who was, I think, also interested in the officer that just died, her body cam was off. There's no video footage. And then, coincidentally enough, Nolan and her had a moment in the station where she's not taking it so well, and she's just distraught by the whole thing, and they kind of split off from there. So now all attention's on her, and I think from there, so Wes is taking it pretty hard. So so now everyone's on them. They try to ID the badge, and they realize she's still in the building, but it turns out she actually left all of her suit, her clothes, her badge, all at the station. So she pretty much is in the win. We cut to the next day where everyone's now on high alert, trying to figure out where's she gonna go, where could she be next. The doctor shows up in a very awkward moment. She and Nolan kind of exchange a weird conversation piece, like, "Hey, listen, I'm still thinking about you even during all this." Nolan responds with that too. And so they continue with their investigation. Nolan tries to search through the social media feeds, trying to maybe find a clue. And then he remembers that she did mention an RV trip she wanted to take when the 30-day push was over. So they kind of cross-reference that and realize, okay, so she's trying to get away via an RV and can be able to self-sustain off the grid. So all of them are in pursuit in a very weird chase scene. Like, how was this not on the news? Like, oh, an RV. And here's the thing, another thing. This RV was the worst freaking RV in the world. Like, this RV could barely handle anything. Like, every time it gets hit by something, another piece comes out, another piece comes out, another piece comes out. I mean, it makes for an interesting car chase, but oh my god, that RV was a piece of crap. I'm sorry to say it was a piece of crap. So our heroes, our rookies, the T.O. and Nick shows up at the Rose Bowl station, at the Rose Bowl Stadium, where they cornered the RV too. So they got to look for her somewhere in the stadium, and everyone's looking. It's fairly well paid. We got a lot of cool aerial shots. Nolan is conveniently and also not surprisingly the one who finds her stumbling into the main stadium. He tries to calm her down when she has her gun pointed up to her chin, indicating she might want to commit suicide. And then she confessed that she had a lot of debts, she had a lot of issues growing up, and she went to this mob family because she needed the money, she needed a way out, she needed a way out of her thing, and the agreement was that she would provide them with information that the LAPD have against her. Then the guy gives chase, and then we already know what happens after that. So that's not been. She's feeling super guilty about it. She doesn't want to live on it anymore because she caused his death. Nolan doing the Nolan thing, tries to talk her down a bit. Like, listen, you could still help out. You can still give names, help out, avenge his death, be able to put the guys who did this responsibly behind bars. And while she was about to, Armstrong comes in, and the way the camera was positioned assumed that she was about to start shooting him, and then Nick managed to kill her before she could say any names. Nolan just stands there, in shock that at the end of it he was still unable to save her. Still, again, not been a very good day. We cut back to the bullpen. Everyone's exhausted mentally, emotionally. Gray orders for all of them to get home, except for Nolan. He has to give a statement about the whole the shooting thing. What was the last moments of her before she died? While it's still fresh in his mind, Nolan agrees, and yeah, from then, so everyone heads back home. West and Luce and Chen head back home. Then Emmett shows up. He and Chen and Emmett managed to make things up, get things back to normal. But Chen needs to be with Wes right now. She needs to be for him emotionally. So they spend the rest of the time crying together in bed over the death. Nolan is back at the station finishing up his statement. He runs into Harper. Harper gives him the good news that the judge has granted her shared custody of her daughter. So there has been a victory. There was a victory in this very, very dark time period in the LAPD. But while Nolan is, lamenting on the day, he remembers the last thing she said was Armstrong. However, he went to go review the body cam footage one more time, and it turns out that she said his name before if she didn't even see him. So it wasn't because it was a reaction to him; it was because she named them as a accomplice to the crime family, and then we see Nick approaching the crime family in their van, and while one of the leaders, and I think the brother, commends them like, you did a good job. And that's sort of where we end part one of our finale. Oh my god, this episode. Now being able to talk about the end. Oh my god, I had a sick feeling in my heart, in my stomach, that no, please don't tell me that Nick is the mole, please. And when it turns out to really be her, it was like, okay, thank God they're doing the typical. It's a brand new character that's somehow established with these characters, so there's your big mole reveal. It's like, okay, thank God, I don't have to worry about that. And then the last moment of the episode was Nick actually working for the crime firm. I'm like, oh no, what about my season 3 plans? My spin-off plan! It's over. We don't know. This is not going to be a happy ending next week. It's not going to be a happy ending. And I commend the storyline. It took some turns. I think the emotion, again, given the fact they were introducing 2 brand new characters into the mix and then killing them off in this episode, was typical TV show 101 when it comes to very dramatic episodes. I get that, but having it all be Nick being the actual the real threat within the LAPD was something I kind of expected to happen, given the promos and given the way the first half of the episode was shot, but I didn't want to believe it. Next week's finale is going to be something for the history books in the show. Hopefully, we'll make it out. We'll all make it out of this, but who knows? Who knows? But anyway, 2 thumbs up in my book. Another solid episode. Can't wait for next week's finale. ABC, come on! We are in the middle of a horrible time period of human history. Can you just renew this show for season 3? I know we're not going to see this for a while, but come on. Just renew the show. Get it over with. Just, let's go. Let's do this. Okay, but in all seriousness, yeah, ABC, please. We need some good news. I mean, renew it for a 3rd season. Come on. We deserve it. Okay, we don't deserve it, but the show deserves it. It's proven its luggage over the past 2 seasons, so please. I'll make a final push for it at the end of the last episode. But, yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. So if you were unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what's coming up overall on What's on the Tube, we do Katie Clean chapter reviews every single Saturday after its brand new episode on the CW on Thursday nights. We just wrapped up our Nancy Drew episode reviews, which we did every Thursday after that new episode came out on Wednesday on the CW. But that's wrapped up. We're doing a couple one-offs in between the next show, which will be Stargirl from DC Universe. So that'll be the new show coming up in 2 weeks. But beforehand, this coming week, we're doing Jane the Virgin, a series review and perspective on that. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. But if you only care about The Rookie, we do Rookie episode reviews every single Monday after its brand new episode on Sunday nights on ABC. Or catch it the next day on Hulu. I got that Hulu now. I got that Hulu subscription. Well, I've been having that Hulu subscription, but I'm just saying it now because, like, okay, well, let's say you don't have cable anymore. Well, you could technically watch it on Hulu after it premieres on the airways that is right behind me. So the plan going forward for the last run of The Rookie, next week will be the season finale review. Then after that, we'll be doing a proper Season 2 review. I'll be reviewing the whole season. How did I think about it and how did it hold up and stack against Season 1, which, while I may not have talked about it on camera, I'll still talk about it and still give my thoughts on it. And then the next week, depending on how things turn out with ABC in terms of a renewal, there will be a Season 3 hopes prediction / if we still haven't got a push for Season 3. So... yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see how things go now, but I'll keep you guys updated. We still got a couple more weeks before that turns out. So hopefully ABC will do the right thing and renew The Rookie for a second season or a third season. And then after that, I haven't planned out what the next show will be on the Monday time slot, but that'll be coming up hopefully in the near future. Again, with this being a very We're entering the summer season of What's on the Tube, so it's I'm still figuring things out with everything going on, so bear with me for a little bit. But until then, we will keep moving forward. We will move forward, and hopefully we'll get through this together. But anyway, so for right now, Rookie Nation, I'll see you guys next week. So if you were unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more of us, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube. Ring the bell for notifications when we have a new episode review live for The Rookie or any one of our other What's on the Tube content. Like, favorite, share this review if you want to. It really does help us out, get us out there in the world. And also follow us on our social media feeds when we have something new to talk or update or something. And I'll see you, Rookie Nation guys, next week for our Season 2 finale. Peace out.